And in order to have consistency is actually going to perfectly tie into our next question. And the next question is about discipline. And in my personal opinion, in order to have consistency, you need to have discipline. For Calvin, what does Calvin do to keep himself humble and continue getting knowledge? And what avenues does Calvin use to stay disciplined with the goals that he has, whether it's self education or business endeavors, so on and so forth? What avenues do you take to stay disciplined?
So I'll share that with you. I want to share an example first. I'll share an
Uh-huh.
example, then I'll share with you what I personally do.
Hmm.
So Vita, by the way, that just commented, right? A very good friend of myself. I don't know if you've ever heard what 75 Hard is by Andy Frisella. Have you heard of that?
And the Priscilla, my other future mentors at my Let's Best Friend, I have not.
So Andy Frisella started with a program called 75 Hard,
Mm.
right? And I spoke about it on another call yesterday. And Vita decided to make a decision to do this 75 hard plan. And what you had to do, basically, you had to work 2 times a day, work out 2 times a day. You had to eat clean. You got to eat healthy, right? You had to personally develop for 75 days. You had to work. One of the workouts had to be outside. Each workout should be 45 minutes. You had to drink, I believe, a gallon of water. Discipline to the highest extent.
Hmm.
A lot of discipline was involved. But I was really like breaking down the reason behind it, right? And it was an avenue for someone to be different. But before they changed, right, they made a decision to go out there and do something with their lives with cause discipline. I hope this
Hmm.
makes some sense.
It does.
Prior to making the decision, there was discomfort. So
Pain.
discipline in the form of working out, in the form of the physical, the mental state wasn't there. And if it wasn't there, it could have been better. Right? And then there was a decision. The decision led on to more discipline or concrete discipline
Hmm.
that now becomes formulated in yourself. It becomes a habit, right? So I think that's a very clear example on discipline, right? Going from something you dread, something like something in your past that you don't really want to talk, it's something that bothers you, making a decision to shift. When you make a decision to shift, then you build up skills to be able to handle future decisions. And one of the skills was discipline.
Hmm.
So for myself, with my discipline, is I make sure that I know what I want in life, right? Because
Clarity.
you can be disciplined to say, you know what, I'm going to wake up every single morning at 7 a.m. I'm going to drink a gallon of water every single day, right? That is small types of discipline. But if you can become disciplined to what you want in life, everything else will fall under. Let me explain how that works. If you wake up every single morning and you're constantly on the idea of, I need to become successful by this age, I need to become a millionaire by 23. Like, I have to do these things regardless. Like, if you like, you have to. You start becoming disciplined to constantly telling yourself, like, I need to do this. And then everything else under it, all you got to do is ask a simple question to yourself. This simple question will change everything in your life. This question will change everything in your life and it will bring some sort of clarity. Ask yourself, what I'm doing right now, is it helping me where I want to go in the next 10, 15, 20 years of my life? Because you have to accomplish, you got to plan long term. Because if you plan short term, what's going to happen? You're going to hit something, you're going to be excited, right? And two things are going to happen. You're going to push more, or like most people do, is fall back and be excited and stay in that excited state, right?
Hmm.
But if you plan long term, you grow so many skills along the way that you just want to go more. You just want to push for more. You're like, I'll just go for another 20, 30 years. I'll do another 40 years. Like, I want to go more.
It becomes a game.
It becomes a game within yours. And that's the thing. If you plan for long-term advantage, the disadvantage is very, very low. Versus planning for short-term advantage, The disadvantage is that you lose your long-term mentality because all this time you're thinking about, I want to get this, I want to get this, I want to get this in the next 5 months. In the next 5 months, I need to get this, I need to get this.
Short term.
What's going to happen when you get that? What's going to happen when you hit that goal?
Same mindset, it's still there.
There's no growth. But if you constantly like, oh my gosh, in the next 15 years, I need to be at 3 million subscribers, 8 million subscribers, 50 million subscribers in the next 8 years. I don't know how that works, but in 10 next years, I need to have 50 million subscribers, right?
Mhm.
You're constantly thinking 50 million, 50 million, 50 million, instead of 1 million, instead of 200,000, instead of 300,000. So it's a different shift in the game you're playing. So I focus every morning is what I'm doing, what I'm like eating, all these things. Is it going to help my future goal in the next 10, 15 years? Where do I want to be in the next 10, 15 years? And like the thing is with discipline, before you even get and touch discipline,
Mhm.
it's all about clarity. You got to be clear about who you want to be.
That's the word I just put down, by the way, clarity.
Clarity. That's awesome. Yeah, you have to be clear. And you that's why I talked about finding a mentor and a coach. Because when you're not aligned with leadership, you become clear about stuff that you don't even know. Like it's some things that are not even important.
Right.
But when you seek a mentor, you seek a coach, and you sit down with them and you say, "Hey, I need to figure out a game plan. I need to know how to make 6 figures in the next. I need to, like, I really need to figure this out."
Hmm.
That mentor, that coach, helps you build a clear path because they already there. Versus you're just there in a room, you haven't spoken to any mentors, you haven't had a personal relationship with a coach, and you're just, I want to become a millionaire by this time, and you're like, I'm gonna do this, and that. Versus someone coaching and be like, hey, Calvin, you what's gonna happen here? And you're gonna hit that block, and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I didn't even see that there.
Right.
Versus this coach and mentor sees that. So I think it's important to find a coach and mentor first before you even do that. You want to have somebody in your corner, right? Because there's going to be struggles through discipline.
Yep.
It's not like you're like, oh, I'm disciplined. That's not how it works. So I think you
Exactly.
have to have someone in your corner, regardless. Everything here that we're talking about all correlates with having somebody in your corner.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Having
Yep.
a mentor, because there are growing pains, just like building a muscle, just like working out at the gym. You're working out, the next day you're sore. That's because you worked the muscle, you added stress to it. That's why the muscle is going to grow. And you need to be able to, just in case something, uh, um, when you're first starting, you need to have someone to show you how to hit that muscle right. You cannot just
Mhm.
start with a 60-pound dumbbell and try to do a curl. No. So maybe you're gonna get
I mean, you
recommended.
could.
Uh-huh.
You
You
could do
could,
it.
the results, God knows what's going to get you. But the goal is hopefully to keep on improving year after year. And this is not just financially speaking, this is speaking mentally and as a
Mhm.
person too,
Yep.
because there are multiple. I personally work on my physically to be healthy, mentally to be growing and in a right state of mind, and financial to match everything, so it can be congruent. Then in order to do that, in my experience, I've been working for myself. We've been talking about this offline for 13 plus years, and in my experience, the only
Great
way to do.
conversation, by the way.
Thank you, brother. Thank
Mhm.
you. And in my opinion, the only way to do that is if you have a fair balance of knowledge and action.
Yep.
If you just have knowledge and you don't have action, you're just gonna mess up that internal dialect, and that self-trust and self-reliance, self-dependence is not gonna get stronger. But when you learn a knowledge and then you go and apply it, and then you see how it becomes part of the world, you see what the real world reply to your whatever plan was, you put the things together, you're like, okay, I kind of can see the future curve before it happens, and it gives you confidence, it gives you the wings that you need to get to the next level, for example.
What
you
does
know
what does Patrick say? Patrick says
uh-huh.
a lot of people, they want to do a lot of big things in their life, right? They're like, yes, we're gonna do this, we're gonna change this, we're gonna like we're gonna, and it's like the most ambitious people end up becoming the most laziest people.
Hmm.
He
There
talks
you
about
go.
that a lot,
There you
right?
go.
And that's
Why is that in your opinion?
because everybody says they want to become a millionaire.
Yeah.
And I'll just leave it at that. Because look, and it also relates on like being too highs in the highs, too lows in the lows. And Pat covers that. Why? Because it's very important, again, to be clear, right? Because everybody can say, I want to become a millionaire.
Yeah.
People can say it, they can want it, people can need it, but it doesn't serve your purpose if you're not clear on it.
And taking action upon it. Absolutely.
Absolutely.